Hi, Keith.
Hi, Jeff.
All right, so we've been hearing a lot of talk about transportation funding lately. There's an increase on the gas tax that's on the table, and all this has to do with the problem of our state's failing transportation infrastructure. So if you wouldn't mind, let's begin with the basics. What is the gas tax in Connecticut? How much roughly do we raise, and where does that money go?
We all do call it the gas tax, but in actuality, it has two components. It's really two separate taxes. When the gas is brought to your local filling station, the state already takes a bite. Right now, there's a rate of about 8%. Then when you actually pump the gas, there's a retail tax. That's flat. That's 25 cents per gallon. Right now, all the fuel tax money goes into the Special Transportation Fund. But that's only really been the case since about 2015. We found a lot of creative ways to bleed off fuel tax money, particularly the wholesale tax. Between 2005 and 2013, as much as, if you'll forgive the bad pun, $1.3 billion was siphoned off and used for non-transportation programs.
And was the idea when these taxes were enacted, they were specifically designed to fund transportation improvements?
Not both of them. That's the tricky part. When it comes to the retail tax, people always understood this was going straight to the Special Transportation Fund. The wholesale tax is different because we don't just apply it to gasoline. It does get applied to other fuels. It actually began as a very small tax on oil companies to fund cleanup of oil spills and other pollution-related issues. People found out by the mid-1990s, however, it was a good moneymaker. And over the years, it evolved into a major resource for transportation. The problem is the Transportation Fund has been victimized by the policies of governors and legislatures over the years. They've deferred way too much basic maintenance of our transportation system. And so every year we have a larger and larger list of projects that basically can't wait anymore. The debt costs in the Transportation Fund, it's growing by like 73% over a 5-year period. And now we're at a crisis stage.
So let me ask, before we get to the crisis stage, is the notion that when we pay for things out of the Special Transportation Fund, we don't pay for them directly, we borrow within the fund, and then the fund pays the debt on the projects?
That's correct. The real big thing it pays for is it pays off the state's credit card on road and bridge and rail repairs, which we finance over a long period of time. The idea being that generations of motorists and riders are going to benefit from them, so they should all share the burden over time.
So what you said crisis. What's the crisis now?
Well, the crisis right now is that the expenses facing the Special Transportation Fund are projected to far outstrip the resources well into the future unless we do something about it soon. If we don't do something, we will start hemorrhaging priorities. Things like repairing the elevated highway in Hartford, the viaduct, will basically be suspended.
Is there a fix that is on the table now?
There has been a fix on the table, and that is tolls. Tolls is seen as a revenue stream that is immune to the whims of gasoline, the whims of improving vehicle mileage. The trade-off is people have gotten very used to a highway system in Connecticut that not only doesn't have tolls, but has a lot of entrances and exits. And people are really unsure if we did bring tolls back, where would all the tolls go? How often would you get hit, and what would it do to traffic patterns?
All right, Keith Phaneuf covers the state budget and the economy for the Connecticut Mirror, and he's always good for an analogy. Thanks, Keith.